Here's my audience: Samantha, Martin, Andy, David, Christine, John, and Seth. Dave's going to video for me. First of all, I'd like to thank you all for being here, especially on your day off, for my speech. I want to tell you about my love for Walt Disney and how Disney World is the most recognizable and most visited theme park in the world. There's no greater feeling than the one you get when taking your first steps into Walt Disney World theme park. Nothing can compare with the magic that you see, that you feel, the smell, the attention to detail. Once you take your first step into the park, you get that whiff of vanilla or cookies. Next slide. The vision of Walt Disney was to create the happiest place on earth. It started back in 1955. Walt Disney had a simple idea that children and adults needed a place to go and have fun together. It took him years to finally see his vision come through. Walt Disney World is the most widely recognized theme park. There are 5 Disneyland parks around the world, 2 in the U.S., 1 in China, 1 in Japan, and 1 in France. Next slide. I've been fascinated by Walt Disney World for as long as I can remember. I visited Walt Disney World once when I was little. My family and I flew from Maryland. We stayed at the Polynesian Resort. I'm currently an annual pass holder. I've visited several times this year. I've booked a 2-day all-star movie resort at the Animal Kingdom for later this month. As you can see, it's me standing with Donald. Next slide. Walt had an idea for a park that was supposed to be a 3-dimensional place where people can actually go to and visit. Parents and children can go to these places and have fun together. Next slide. For years, his business partner and older brother, Roy, didn't take the idea very seriously. Walt persevered. He sold his house in Palm Springs. He borrowed on his life insurance to finance his dream. After Walt worked out some challenges. He was able to start a park in California. He began then to search for more land to create a new park and found it in Florida. He passed away in 1966. His brother Roy finished this theme park in Orlando called the Magic Kingdom in 1971. He named the park after Walt, later Walt Disney World. Today, can't hardly tell it, but it says that Disney-owned parks around the world receive 150 million visitors annually. Next slide. Many other parks have opened up across the world. Of course, we talked about Japan, France, China, all Disney World theme parks. They continue to flourish. We see 150 million visitors every year. And when we look at the chart, can't really read it here either. The top 4 out of 5 parks are Walt Disney owned parks, and you also see 8 out of the top 10 owned by Disney World. Next slide, please. There are 6 parts to the Magic Kingdom theme park. Main Street, USA, turn of the century American Main Street. It offers the guests the ability to see a baby get his first haircut. You get to meet Mickey Mouse out in the Town Square Theater. Next up, you have Adventureland. It's a park jungle, park tropical paradise. It holds one of my favorite attractions, the Pirates of the Caribbean. Frontierland is a western themed area. Here you can find the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and you get to smell smoked turkey legs everywhere. Once you get to Liberty Square, you're stepping back into colonial times, reminiscent of Williamsburg, Virginia. You get to see a replica of the Liberty Bell. Did you know that the Liberty Bell was one of the original 50 replicas that were created for our country's 200th birthday? One was delivered to every state. Pennsylvania ended up with a replica, but they had the original one. Why would they want a replica? Walt Disney figured this out and decided to buy it for his park. Tomorrowland was originally designed to portray Disney's view of the future. In the 90s, they decided to change the tactics to depict a view as depicted from sci-fi writers from the 1920s and 1930s. Next slide, please. Lastly, Fantasyland, based on the classic animated films. This is where children of all ages get to step into a fairy tale. The iconic Cinderella Castle is the main focal point. This area is accompanied with Enchanted Forest and Storybook Circus. Next slide, please. Epcot World and the World Showcase. There's over 12.2 million visitors to this park last year. It is an experimental prototype community of tomorrow. Future World features attractions that focus on energy, communication, land, and our environment and outer space. You also get to see 11 countries represented. Several boat rides and shows will give you an overview of each country that you're in. You can stroll around and transition from one country to the next. Different food and drinks from all over the globe. And every night, Epcot puts on a fantastic show of fireworks, lasers, and dancing fountains to a set of music. Next slide, please. Disney's Hollywood Studios is centered around the Tower of Terror. They're currently upgrading this park. It has several great attractions and excellent restaurants, but it was the only Disney-owned theme park to see a small decrease in attendance from 2016. I'm very excited for the Star Wars Galaxy Edge area that's currently being constructed, and I'm sure this area alone will bring an outstanding number of new visitors to the park. Next slide. Animal Kingdom, a 500-acre home to nearly 1,700 animals representing around 250 species, saw an amazing growth of 15.3%, which brought 12.5 million visitors to the park last year. Most of the credits due to the new technologically advanced Pandora, the world of Avatar, which you can see here, the mountains in the park at day, and then the mountains in the park at night, so they light it up. It's amazing. We're going to move to the next slide. Of course, you get to see some annual revenue. This is in billions, $59 billion. Annual income, close to 13. And then from 2018, the fiscal year, Walt Disney Parks and Resorts had an operating profit of $4.5 billion. It's an increase of more than 100% from 5 years earlier. For comparison, Disney Media Networks, home to ESPN, ABC, had a profit of $6.6 billion, a 3% decline. Each of Disney's 6 theme parks and resorts from around the world are undergoing major expansion. Next slide, please. Along with the cruise line, Disney estimates that will spend $24 billion on new attractions, hotels, and ships over the next 5 years. That's more than Disney paid for Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm combined. Walt Disney World is always evolving and expanding. It is a sure bet that the company will be adding another theme park soon. And you get to see some upcoming features from Mickey and Minnie. They're going to do a runway attraction. It puts guests inside of a Mickey costume or cartoon. Then you're going to have Gardens of the Galaxy at Epcot. Walt Disney World's currently constructing a gondola system to connect many different resorts to the Animal Kingdom to help work out with the many millions of travelers. Next slide, please. Walt Disney World is truly the happiest place on earth, as well as the most recognizable theme park on the planet. In conclusion, Walt Disney's dream has become a reality. The numbers don't lie. Each year and every year, adults and children can have fun together in theme parks. There's so much to do every time we go to the park. There's something new and exciting. I always feel transformed to a new and exciting adventure. Next slide. That's it.